Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have the second episode pretty much of our series where we are talking about what do you guys use when one hero is under construction. And this time we're taking a look at armies where you don't have a queen to use, and we will take a look at different army compositions. Overall I will present my top 3 to you guys, and you guys can decide which one is the best and which one is the most effective one. The first one is going to be once again Electron, just because Electron itself as an army is that strong right now that you can pretty much use it even without both heroes like King and Queen. But if you have only one of those up, then you can obviously try to use them. What is the perfect thing, or like what's the perfect way on how to use your heroes on this one? And it's mainly getting used for funneling the loons. For example, on this one, we have the small bridge of 2 buildings connecting this right part and this left part of the base. If those 2 buildings would have been cleared, it's pretty easy to play the Lyla after that. But because we only have the king, we can only clear the outside buildings, which means we have to deploy our slammer that he's funneling itself. With this being said, it shows pretty much that you can always work around the fact that you're not having a queen, for example. This guy has even like a damage CC, which is normally really annoying to deal with when you're doing a Lyla attack. But as long as you have the warden with you at turn 12, for turn 11 you don't even need the warden to do this attack. But for the Town Hall 12 attack strategy, you need the warden ability because of the Town Hall. Obviously, otherwise all of your loons would die every single time, and that would be a little bit annoying. But as soon as you only have your queen or your king, or even both of those heroes under construction, you can use this strategy pretty easily, and at the same time you can practice because it is a really strong war army as well. So it's not only for farming, and it's really effective in the resource usage, which I will show in the end once again when I show you guys all of the armies and like how you can build them and like what you can tweak. You guys will see this army is really effective when it comes down to the resources and what you have to invest into it. But let's take a look at the next army, what you can use if your queen is not in your army camp. This army you might know already as well, because this is going to be once again Pekka Smash, which means we have 2 returning armies of the episode where we already highlighted attacks where you do not have your king. And it's pretty simple, because for farming, first off, you have a couple of really good farming strategies, and because we're combining the farming aspect and the war, like the triple aspect, a couple of strategies will come and return again. But let's take a look at how you can do this warden charge, or like in general the Pekka Smash, when you do not have your queen, because normally you're using your queen to get the Pekka Smash into the base. And you have different options for this. First off, if you have a decent leveled warden, which means like around 30 and higher, then you can do a warden charge, which means basically you have the warden funneling as part of the base, and then you can use your Pekka Smash to get actually into the base. The next option is to just do not really funnel at all, except the Pekka, which means you would use a Pekka over here, a Pekka over here, and then you can push into the base, try to use the slammer at the bottom, and then just jump through the base. This is basically the other option and how you can do this if your warden isn't that well upgraded. But let's take a look at this one. You need the warden most likely for this army composition, because you have to be really careful with the Giga Bomb. Maybe you can work around that as well, that's possible, but it's way easier with the warden ability protecting all of your boulders in the core. But let's take a look at what is next. I always bring the slammer because I feel like the slammer is super powerful. It's the most powerful siege machine in the game right now. And this being said, it's just so powerful. You do not need that many spells for your Pekka Smash itself, which means you can easily bring up Freeze and a Haste Spell for your Lyla part as well, like for your loons from the slammer as well. So this is going to be the second army, and you guys can see in the middle, like that's normally the time where your boulders are dying, but I still have around 4 Pekka, I think, alive at one spot, and this is the important thing. We have one Pekka over here at the 6 o'clock side, breaking through the wall, and this means we will get all of the resources at the back end, like all of those storages and all of those resources over here with the wizard, etc. So this is going to be a nice attack when it comes down to farming. And well, let's check out the last remaining strategy for attacking without the queen. This is going to be the last strategy on our list, which is pretty similar to our first strategy, which was Electron. This one is going to be spam Lyla. By saying spam Lyla, it is spam Lyla, like 40 loons, 2 hounds, all in. You don't really even need the slammer, you can just put in more loons, and that's totally up to you. This army can be used just with the king or only with the queen, or even with no heroes. That isn't really that important. But on this one, let's try to take a look at what do you have to go for. First off, you try to interrupt once again the ring, which is that common, all those anti-2-star bases. I'm doing this by sending in the king over here, and this means a piece of the cake is taken out. This means I can use the Lyla in this direction, which means that I will get to the town hall when I have all of the percentage I need to activate it, and I don't need to invest any spells on that. So let's check out how I'm doing this. And you guys see, I'm pretty much only spamming the loons onto the different defenses because we have so freaking many loons. And if I'm completely honest, you can just draw a line with the loons. It doesn't really matter. You can train already with this for war and etc. Trying to deploy every single loon. But if you just want to like draw one line, that's totally fine as well. I'm using the haste, using the heal to get into the last Inferno Tower and the Town Hall, and then my loons are making their way into the town. Town Hall's down with the rage, and then I'm using the poison and the skeleton spell on the enemy queen, and still using a freeze because I have so many freaking spells on all of my loons. And since I'm having the warden up, this means all of my loons are so damn tanky. This is crazy. So I'm still having the last freeze for the Tesla farm, and this means this base is completely doomed. And this is it. I have posted all of the 3 attacks to you guys, but I will show you guys all of the 3 armies once again with the prices of every single army and my recommendation for every single army and what I think is the best and what is the most important factor if you want to use one of those. Okay, those are the 3 armies I highlighted in this video. We have Pekka Smash, we have Spam Lyla, and we have Electron. And at the same, or like at this part of the video, we always want to take a look at the costs and want to rank those 3 armies depending on how good is the army, how effective is the army, and how much does the army cost. Like it's always depending. Most of you guys probably want to still farm, still grind for this loot because, well, you're still upgrading your heroes. So this means you're not maxed yet, which means you want to have those resources in. So let's rank those. I think on rank number 3, we have Pekka Smash. Pekka Smash is kind of decent, but I feel like you need the queen. You need some of the queen. It is possible without the queen, instead the king, but Pekka Smash is way more effective when you have the queen. That's basically it, and that's why the Pekka Smash strategy is on the spot number 3. An additional factor is that it's kind of expensive. You see, it's the most expensive one in Elixir and in Dark Elixir in our list, which is obviously for farming not the best. And this is why this strategy is on spot number 3. The next spot is maybe a surprise for a couple of you guys, is Electron. Why is it Electron? It is not as expensive in Elixir as Spam Lyla, but it is a little bit more expensive in Dark Elixir. And this means most of the people are trying to farm for Dark Elixir, and this means try to reduce the costs in Dark Elixir, and Spam Lyla is doing that perfectly. It's combining Elixir and Dark Elixir really nicely, and that's why I think this Electron is only on spot number 2 and Spam Lyla number 1. In addition to that, the power of the strategy. Like Electron, you first need always someone who's donating to you a siege machine and an Electro Dragon. Meanwhile, for Spam Lyla, you just need loons. A siege machine is nice to have, but you don't really need the slammer or the blimp, whatever. It's not needed for that. Meanwhile, for Electron, you need a Slammer or Blimp and the Electron in there. Otherwise, you can't do the strategy. That's how it is. And this is why I think Spam Lalo is better than Electron. And in addition to that, it's even easier because, like I said, you have that many loons, you can just draw a line and push your loons through the base. That's totally easy. And yeah, that's basically it. All of those strategies, really quick. For Pekka Smash, you need the Slammer and loons in there with a Rage. For Electron, you need 2 loons and Electro Dragon in there with a Rage and Slammer or Blimp. That's both possible. If you're down 11, just get rid of 1 loon. That doesn't matter too much. For Spam Lalo, just loons in your CC basically, and a Rage and a Slammer, for example. That's it. You don't even need the Slammer. That's not like you can. It's nice to have, but it's not even needed in the end. You have so many loons. It doesn't really matter as long as you place your spells correctly. And that's it. That's it for if you're upgrading your queen. Use this army. And one addition to that, Spam Lalo is working as well if your king is upgrading, obviously. But it was just one strategy which I didn't want already to bring in the king video. But Spam Lalo is probably one of the best farming strategies out there if one of the heroes is upgrading king or queen. For Warden, it's completely different, and the Warden video will come really soon. I would do this once again, all of those top 3 strategies for the Warden as well, if that's a hero which is upgrading. And I can already promise to you, the strategies will be different. We won't see any Lalo in there, and we will see a couple of other troops in there. I will see you in the next video. See you guys then. Bye bye.